Welcome to the Cinematic Void Podcast. Cinematic Void is a cult film series that hosts screenings in the Los Angeles area as well as virtually. I'm your host, Jim Branscombe, and joining me as always is...
Hey, it's Nick Vance, Paranoid Futures on all social media. You can find Cinematic Void on the World Wide Web at cinematicvoid.com, as well as Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and all major podcast platforms. If you want to support The Void, you can join our Patreon. Not only do you get cool perks, but you make this podcast possible. All right, Jim, what are we talking about today, man?
Well, it's been a while since we've done this, hasn't it?
Yeah, a little bit.
I think the last episode came out in September. I actually thought it was like fucking July when we recorded, and someone's like, no, you did one in September for your summer to end series. Like, oh yeah, I guess we did talk about those movies. It feels like a fucking year ago at this point. And then we had this Night Flight episode that just came out, which had been done for a bit, and we were like, all right, we got this, and then like there was a version that you had sent me your edit and I had done an edit, and then I deleted my project file. So I still have your edit. I just don't have my edit. And I was like, fuck it. And then Beyond Fest hit and all that stuff, and fell down into a whirlwind of chaos, so to speak. And then I think we did record like a new intro and an outro for that Night Flight episode at one point, and then we just never got around to finishing it. So what this episode is, it's our yearly, favorites episode where we talk about my 5 favorite Blu-rays, your 5 favorite albums. I feel like we're going to have a deeper discussion about what exactly a favorite is, what exactly a list is, all that kind of stuff. But, we're also going to treat this as a bit of a recap since we hadn't done one of these fucking things in months at this point. Like, I don't know. I think what happened to both of us was Beyond Fest. Like, literally. Like, I had a trip at the beginning of September, and you had a trip. You went to Riot Fest, didn't you?
Yes.
And it's a long, crazy story, especially your flight back.
Yeah.
Which we won't get into, unless you really want to get into it. It was a bit planes, trains, and automobiles.
Yeah, for sure. Like,
literally. But, we hit Beyond Fest, we lost our minds, then, October hit, and it never stopped being busy for either of us. So it's like, we wanted to do a podcast, but life was not letting us do one. I mean, shit, we work together, all the time, and I, would see you for, maybe 10 minutes a day, if that. So, the fact we're sitting here, having drank, a pot of coffee already, and it's, 10 o'clock at night, which is probably not the most conducive time for podcasting, but goddamn it, we're going to make it work. So, again, this episode is our 2022 favorites, but it's also going to be a bit of a recap because a lot of shit has happened since we recorded a podcast. Just wrapped up the Jonathan Kaplan series I was doing in November, which is, I want to say, one of the coolest fucking things I've ever gotten to do for Cinematic Void. If you don't know who Jonathan Kaplan is, you should know who he is. Probably is the movie he's probably best or most well known for is Over the Edge, which he came out and did a Q&A. It was him, it was co-writer Tim Hunter, who also directed River's Edge.
Nice. And
Pamela Ludwig, who was one of the stars of the movie, who also was kind of the impromptu, informal, she helped put together a soundtrack. She's the reason why there's Cheap Trick and Over the Edge and stuff like that. So, I've said this before. I think I've said it probably a few times over the years, but, definitely, if that was the last Cinematic Void, I'd be happy because it was a fantastic screening. But other things I showed in the Kaplan series, I showed Truck Turner as well as the Student Teachers. Both of those prints were brand new. John Davison, who was a producer for New World Pictures and then went and did RoboCop, and he works for Trailers from Hell. And for some reason, I guess, well, not for just a reason that he wanted to, he struck new prints of a lot of films either he worked on or he liked or his friends did. So he had, he has a bunch of things, he has a newer print of Rock and Roll High School or Piranha and things like that. But Truck Turner and Student Teachers had never been played in a theater until I played them.
Really?
Yeah, they were struck at the lab. They previewed them at the lab, and then hadn't been played since.
Okay.
So it's been really fantastic, and I just want to say, I've never had the opportunity to do a Q&A with someone like 3 times in a row. Like, I've had guests come back and done Q&As for different movies or whatever, but like this Kaplan series was just like, I kind of looked at it as a challenge, but I also looked at it as like, something cool and different. The fact that the man made Truck Turner and Over the Edge is amazing, because like both of those are 5-star movies to me for completely different reasons. And like you might not think of them the same director, but watching all those movies back to back, it's clearly the same director.
Very cool.
And like, he had a long career. He did television. He was one of the main producers and directors on ER. He also did things like, he got Jodie Foster her first Oscar because he directed her in The Accused. He also did Unlawful Entry with Kurt Russell and Ray Liotta. Like, he's had a crazy, crazy career. And like, when I wrapped that series, I was like, I want to do this again. Like, either pick a different decade or like just have him pick some of the movies we ended up not doing. Because he's a really interesting dude, and like just be with someone that like, went to film school and like, learned to evolve as a director, like on the fly, and working with like little budgets and just like hopping genres and just like doing it all well. So that was, that was one of the coolest fucking things I've ever gotten to do. And right now, as we're recording this, we're in the middle of the Void's Christmas season, where after some difficulties of trying to pick movies, I finally got I went with action. I went with an action lineup. So as of this recording, I just showed The Silent Partner. I had producer Joel B. Michaels there. I had him previously in October when I did The Changeling, which I should mention, like, that Changeling was another, like, amazing all-timer Q&A I got to do. I did with Joel, and I also did with director Peter Medic, and showed Severn Films' new 4K restoration of The Changeling, and it just fucking, it was a great night. And it's just like, I don't know, I feel like I've been on a pretty good streak of like programming things I'm shown and just like, doing Q&As, and I feel like I've been very self-critical of myself, and it's just like, you know what, I'm gonna pat myself on the back. I did a good fucking job.
Hell yeah.
And I'm only saying that not to just boost my ego or whatever, but I'm just like, I just want to acknowledge it's like, I've done some cool shit this year. And that's the bigger point I'm getting at. But kind of, I'll get back to that once I finish up on Christmas here. So, just did The Silent Partner this upcoming week. This podcast probably come out after. I'm doing Maniac Cop 2 with Bill Lustig and Lorraine Landon. Got Invasion USA, and then gonna close out the year with a French Connection. So lots of cool stuff. And then, hey, in the new year, got January Giallo, which by the time this podcast comes out, like, all the lineup should be out. It's gonna be at least at this point 7 different venues across the country. Lots of, I'm gonna be traveling a lot in January, so we're gonna still have podcast episodes since we've been slacking. We should have some January ones.
Hell yeah.
I'll be in Chicago. I will be in Denver. I will be back in Boston, Coolidge area, and of course, and I'm also going to be in Arizona for one-off screening. So I'm
particularly excited about one of the films for January.
Oh yeah, we can talk about the lineup. I'm not going to talk about the whole lineup because maybe if we get time and get our shit together, I can talk about the whole January Giallo. But I think it's worth talking about the LA lineup. So, and yeah, I'll save the best for last because I know that's the one you're most excited for.
Oh, yeah.
So, kicking things off with a rare Technicolor 35mm print of Lucio Fulci's A Lizard in a Woman's Skin. I think I said that right. Yeah, it's a lizard in a woman's skin, not a woman in a lizard skin. Sometimes I get dyslexic with these Giallo titles, but, I mean, this is a bucket list one. Like, I never thought I would ever see it on film. I hope to find, like, the U.S. version, which was released as Schizoid or something like that. And, I just, like, kind of gave up there was. But shout out to Harry Guerrero from Exhumed Films. He found an Italian print and, like had it brought over and was kind enough to hold on to it for January so a bunch of venues could play it for January Giallo. So shout out for Harry. He actually brought over the show at his, like, Hearthon he does every year. But he's like, hey, I got this print. I was like, can you hold on to it through January? He's like, yep. That's like... So that's the kickoff. It will also be playing the Music Box in Chicago and Coolidge in Brookline, Massachusetts. So if you get an opportunity, please go see it. My understanding, I haven't seen it yet, but like basically everyone I know who saw it in Philly said it's a fucking amazing, beautiful, impeccable print. So really stoked. I'm also showing a movie called Formula for a Murder. It's directed by Alberto De Martino. He did Strange Shadows and Empty Room, Antichrist, and Puma Man. I'm trying to say it like how Donald Pleasant says in the movie. Like basically a long time like Italian genre filmmaker. This was like late mid 80s like kind of giallo thing. It was like one of the last movies he did. It stars David Warbeck from The Beyond, just playing like chewing up scenery, just being absolutely unhinged at it. It's a pretty gnarly movie, a little goofy too, but kind of excited because that's another Italian language print. I don't think it's ever played the U.S. like film wise.
Cool.
I don't even think it's another Harry Guerrero print, and I don't think he's even played it as far as I know yet. Played some, I guess, standard classics as well this year. I'm doing Autopsy starring Mimsy Farmer, which has one of the great dummy drops of cinema history in it. Going to do Death Laid an Egg, which is one of the best late 60s kind of gialli. Takes place on a chicken farm. Really cool. I think you would dig that one.
Okay.
I think most of this lineup you would actually dig.
Sick.
Because I know you're not the biggest giallo fan. But the last one is my Neo Giallo pick. And I'm sure there's going to be some people like, why the fuck are you showing that? And it's like, you know why I'm fucking showing that? Because it's awesome.
Yeah.
And it's I Know Who Killed Me starring Lindsay Lohan. Tell me why you're so excited for that one.
I mean, it's a fucking banger, dude. I love this movie so much. It's so good.
Oh, I agree. Like, I've had people like, when I asked Eagle to do the posters, like, come on, man.
I think that anyone that would poo poo it that's into this stuff, I personally think that maybe they either haven't seen it.
They haven't seen it.
Or they need to take another look.
No, they haven't seen it because, like, the reason why this is my favorite Neo Giallo, like, I fully believe if, like, change the era and, like, some of the things in the movie obviously are more modern time stuff, but like if you took the basic plot, dropped in the late 60s, early 70s, and it was like Carol Baker and Roberto Lenzi,
right,
or Edwidge Fenech and Sergio Martino making this movie,
it's nonsensical.
It follows all the giallo tropes,
right?
And like there's doppelgangers, there's like there's all kinds of shit in it. It's like you got fetishy color schemes. You got like, just sleaze. I mean, not really giallo-like, but you get the Melvins and the sword on the soundtrack. And I don't know. It's just a fucking insane movie. And like, it feels like, even though I think that what happened in this movie, it came out right as Lindsay Lohan was beginning her, like, I guess, career downfall or whatever you want to call it. So that's why I kind of call it the
descent into madness.
Yeah, it hit right then. But like, if she had been an actor in the 60s or 70s and went and made that movie like in Europe, it would make perfect sense.
Hell yeah.
But just because it was a movie made in the States, like coming as like her world at that time was falling apart, it just people kind of dismissed it. But like I mean, I don't know if she has an opinion on it, but I think it's really fucking cool.
Hope that you try to get her to come out and you ask her opinion on it.
All right, I'm gonna try.
That's my challenge to you.
All right, I'll hit up her rate. I think she's doing like Hallmark movies or some shit now. It's like, hey, do you want to talk about this shit? Because like I actually do want to know what she thinks of it. I mean, she might fucking hate it or like dismiss it, but I think like, no, dude, I think it's just a really wild movie. It's like, it's rare that like even that, in the mid 2000s when this came up, or late 2000 or before 2010s or whatever, whenever this movie came out, it's like, it's insane that it got made.
Yeah. I think this is what it's one that people are eventually going to come around on. So get on the boat now. Yeah.
I mean, it's like, I was kind of like, when I first heard about it, I was like, I don't know, man. And like, I get a shout out to Bruce Holchek, because Bruce is like, no, dude, it's pretty much a giallo. And I was like, holy shit, you're right. Like, just everything about it. And it's like, there's a lot of people that are always like, oh, I'm doing a Neo Giallo and stuff. And then like, they kind of get like the aesthetic, they look at the colors and stuff, but no one gets the plot. Mm-hmm. And like, you gotta kind of have to follow that template. And like, this movie just hits it all to a T, like perfectly. So that's why I'm showing it. And a couple other venues are showing. I know Denver's playing it, and I think if they get it confirmed, I think maybe Knoxville's going to play it too. Cool. Because people are like, oh yeah, that's a fucking good idea. Hell yeah. And plus, shout out my homie Will Morris. He just played it for his Music Box like Horathon too. Sweet. Because I knew there was a print out there. I've been wanting to play it, and it just like I went and checked the Sony website and I didn't see it listed. I'm like, oh man, did they just give up the rights or are they just hiding it? So when I saw Will was playing, I was like, yo, where'd you book it? He's like, Sony. I'm like, sweet. Hell
yeah. And it's probably not been played very many times, so like it's probably super clean.
I know it played Cinefamily way back because I know Phil played it because like when I was talking to Phil about the lineup, he's like, oh shit, you're playing that? I was thinking about playing like I Know Who Killed Me. He's like, it must be something in there. I was like, I think it's just like I think the reevaluation is there.
It's due, man.
So yeah, outside of a Lizard in Women's Skin showing that Technicolor print, I think I'm most stoked about watching I Know Who Killed Me with the audience. So I'm really excited. So I should say, like, it's been a long fucking year.
Mm-hmm.
Very long. And like, you know, I went from doing like a show a month to like a show a week. And sometimes more this whole year. And like, I guess before we get into like our favorites, I just want to say it's like, you know, I'm grateful I got to do what I got to do. I might have complained about it and been burned out at different points and like, you know, had to rescale the Cinemadness movie back, but then I did a whole run of it in October. I did 5 back-to-back episodes, which I think when I do another season in 2023, that's kind of what I'm going to do, is just do it weekly again. But just do it like a real show where you have a season and then like take a break, as opposed to trying to like commit to something monthly.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that was a good thing. But like, you know, I got to show a lot of movies this year, and because it was weekly, I had the opportunity to show a lot, you know, things that if I had a monthly slot, I might have the fault to do. Whereas like having a weekly, it's like, well, you got to fill slots. And like, you know, did a lot of cool things like, you know, Last American Virgin's Q&A, the Jonathan Kaplan series, you know, doing the Changelings, Spookies, like, you know, showing Seconds finally, which has been my all-time bucket list movie to be able to screen. Doing like 80s HBO like comedies or like, you know, things we watched as kids all the time. Like a lot of things that like I didn't think like I would ever have the opportunity to do as Void because you know, one slot a month, but like it's exhausting, but it's rewarding because now I've gotten to show like just a lot of things. So I don't know. It's been a hard year. It's been a weird year. A lot of weirdness still going on, but like, you know, it's been a good year. And, you know, I don't want to change anything about it other than maybe get a couple extra hours of sleep here and there. So we're going to take a quick commercial break, but when we return, we're going to talk about my top 5 Blu-rays, and Nick's going to talk about his top 5 albums for 2022 on the Cinematic Void podcast.
There's one product no medicine cabinet should be without. Alka-Seltzer.
Oh, no. Oh, no. Oh, no. Ho!
Alka-Seltzer.
Ho, ho, ho! Ho, 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 ho!
For acid indigestion with headache, nothing's more soothing or effective.
Ho, ho, ho!
No wonder it's America's home remedy.
Come on, everyone, it's time. Hello, I'm Orville Redenbacher. This is my favorite time of the year, when we Redenbachers get together to share the best of the season. Of course, we pop up plenty of my light and fluffy gourmet popping corn and my gourmet microwave popping corn. Ready? You'll say they're the season's best, or I'm not.
Redenbacher.
Great grandpa to you. May your holiday be the best there is.
We're Beatrice.
Welcome back. We're talking about our favorite Blu-rays / albums for 2022. I'll be talking Blu-rays, Nick will be talking albums, and then once we do our top 5s, we're going to take another break, and we're going to talk about, you know, my favorite albums and Nick's favorite Blu-rays, film screenings, movies that came out. We're just gonna favorite that shit up, you know. So I think, what's the normal format? You go first and I go.
Yeah, you love to make me go first here.
You know what? We're gonna change tradition. I will go first, and you can go second. Let's throw a fucking curveball here. So my top 5 are not in any particular order, although I think my number 1 is my number 1 Blu-ray release of the year. The way I do Blu-ray releases isn't necessarily like, extensive restoration stuff. It has to be part of it, like, it's a movie I really love, and there's a nice addition to it. And whether it has like a shit ton of extras or whatever, that matters, but doesn't matter to me. So, a lot of people who talk about their top Blu-ray releases are looking like, the 4K like scan and color correction and all that stuff. And I look at that shit too. But at the end of the day, it's the entire package. It's like you can do a beautiful restoration on a movie, but if the movie's a piece of shit, I don't care.
Mm-hmm.
So for my number 5, even though it's not really number 5, it's just 1 of 5, put it that way. I went with a movie that Fun City Editions had put out. They would do really nice work. Mm-hmm. Like a lot of shit I haven't ever, had seen or heard of, and like and the stuff I have, it's like it's been good curation. This one I was very fucking stoked they put out on Blu-ray. And it's Lynn Ramsey's Mo Verne Caller. Which is a fucking incredible movie. I've said it before, I'll say it again. Lynn Ramsey, top 5 director, dead or alive.
Wow. Okay.
She, like, we need to talk about Kevin, Ratcatcher.
Mm-hmm.
Fucking, the movie she made with Joaquin Phoenix that I'm forgetting the name of that I could look up, but I'm not going to. It's like, You Were Never Really Here or something like that.
Oh, yeah, that's the one. Mm-hmm.
I think that's the title. Wow, I pulled that out of my ass, but, like, never made a bad film. Never made a movie that is less than 5 stars as far as I'm concerned. And this movie's no exception. This fucking Blu-ray just fucking smokes. Like, if you haven't seen this movie, it's devastating. It's fucking mean. It's fucking funny. And I mean mean in the sense of like, the main character's a little, basically takes a tragedy or I should say, takes lemons and really makes some sweet lemonade out of it. Kind of thing. So if you haven't seen the movie, it's fucking incredible. Pick up that disc. I'm sure the limited edition slipcover is already gone or whatever. The thing that makes people buy Blu-rays is a fucking piece of cardboard, but the movie itself is impeccable and like highest possible recommendation. And again, I will say Lynn Ramsey, top 5 filmmaker right now, dead or alive. I don't think it's for debate. You can debate me on it, but it's just like, tell me who else has made Ratcatcher? If we need to talk about Kevin, this movie, like, doesn't miss.
Yeah.
The only thing I wish is she has made more movies. But you know what? The ones she's made are fucking incredible. So that's my number 5, although it's not really number 5. It's 1 of 5.
We're just trading?
We just trading.
Oh,
man.
we're trading. Okay. All right. I'm talking about records. I also kind of don't really have a 1 through 5. I went a little heavy on... I got back into guitar music this year, I suppose. So,
which is funny after like 2 years of like, I don't listen to guitar music kind of shit.
Yeah, I mean that shit still sucks. but yeah, so I went and I don't know. I mean, there's just like, I don't know. Everything is just kind of like heavy. I don't know. Heavy, weird, like grungy.
It's like grunge or new gaze.
Yeah, new metal, shoegaze, emo, grunge. Like everybody's kind of doing the same sort of thing right now. So my list is kind of heavy on that. I'm just a little warning there. But I'll take a quick detour here though, and I really like this No Pressure self-titled record that came out on Triple B Records this year. I think it's the singer of The Story So Far, but I don't know. It's the singer of some like popular like emo pop punk band. But so this is his like, I don't know.
Side project?
His side project that's kind of, I mean, I guess like I said, it's pop punk. I don't know. When I say it's pop punk, it sounds like Blink-182. And like a little Saves the Day or something.
It's as if like Blink-182 was recording Lifetime songs or something like that.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair, yeah.
Because when you sent it to me, and it's just like, I'll talk about this a little later when we talk about, other things we like, but like when you sent me this record, it was like the most perfect thing I needed in that moment. I was like, oh shit, I didn't know I needed that's what I needed to hear, and like, god damn it, that's what I needed to hear.
It's kind of refreshing. People aren't making this music right now, or not really, so
I mean, it's just unabashedly like that era pop punk.
Mm-hmm. And definitely the that little bit of Lifetime influence definitely sweetens the pot for me, because if it was just straight up, I mean, hey, I like the first few Blink-182 records for sure. Like, I'm not a hater. So I'm down for a Blink-182 clone, but
But I think this is a little bit more than that, because it's just like, it's well produced, it sounds good, you know, it's like obvious influences on their sleeve, but it's just like the fact they pulled it off, and the record's like fucking short as shit. Like, it doesn't overstay its welcome. It's not overthinking. There's no like fucking ballads or any of that kind of shit. It's just like, it's a fucking pop punk record, and that's it.
sounds like going skateboarding in the 90s.
Yeah. That's the one thing I've noticed now for like a lot of bands is like late 90s, early 2000s are back.
It's a nice, it's a good era of music to rip from, I think.
And
I mean, but also that's kind of like, that's definitely our formative years of like getting into music anyway. So it's a lot of good underground music came from that era.
yeah, and it's a nostalgia trip, but in a really fantastic way. So I guess don't want to interrupt unless you have
No, that's it for me on that one.
Okay, so I'm gonna go for my number 4, 1 of 4, or 4 or 5. Like, it again, it's not really my number 4, but this one came out from Grindhouse Releasing. I actually did kind of it's not quite a Blu-ray release screening of it, but it was a pretty early on screening, and it's the movie Death Game, which stars Sandra Locke, Colleen Camp, and Seymour Cassell. Grindhouse Releasing had been working on this fucking release for years, and did the screening. Eli Roth came out because he was a huge fan of the movie. He also made Knock Knock, which is a remake of this movie. And then I did a Q&A with Colleen Camp and cinematographer, editor, and the voice of Seymour Cassell in the movie, David Worth.
Oh, okay.
Because Seymour Cassell hated being on the movie, and when they asked him to come back with loop lines, he said, "Go fuck yourself," and didn't come back. So David Worth was like the MVP of keeping this movie together. So this release on Blu-ray is impeccable. It's like, just to give you a little plot, it's about this guy played by Seymour Cassell. His wife goes away for the weekend, wife and kids. He's at the home alone. He's having pizza. It's raining outside. 2 young girls show up, and they kind of seduce him. And he lets himself be seduced. And then the next morning, they begin to fucking torture him. And it's like, it is a fucking one of the great exploitation movies. Like, it goes all over the place. And like, Colleen Camp and Sandra Locke give like completely amazing performances. And because David Worth worked on that movie, and Sandra Locke was dating Clint Eastwood for many years, she got involved with Clint Eastwood. So he was a DP on a few Clint Eastwood movies too.
Oh, okay.
So, you know, again, that was a really fun Q&A I got to do, but it's also a really stellar Blu-ray release that if you haven't picked it up, grab it from Grindhouse Releasing. They put out, you know, lots of cool stuff like The Beyond, Pieces, Cannibal Holocaust, The Swimmer, like all kinds of good releases. And they're not as prolific as a lot of the other boutique labels, but when Grindhouse drops something, it's definitely worth picking up. So Death Game it's an essential Blu-ray to pick up, and it's one of my 5 favorite releases of 2022.
Cool. I haven't seen that one, and I think you've sold me on it.
Yeah, I think you enjoy it. It's like, it's definitely.
I did see Knock Knock when it came out.
Yeah. Well, you know,
I didn't feel so good about that.
Yeah.
But you sold me on the original.
The original is like, definitely check it out. It's definitely worth, it's definitely worth watching, especially for 70s exploitation movies, especially for one that's been like maligned and hard to see really good for many years, and like this fucking restoration is outstanding.
Right on. All right, I guess next up I'm gonna go with and these aren't really in order. They're kind of genre-wise, maybe these are all over the place, so I'm just kind of picking 5 records I just listened to a ton this year, right?
Yeah.
So next up, I'm gonna go with Gridiron, No Good at Goodbyes, which
No Good at Goodbyes.
Yeah, there you go. Which is that on Triple B? I think it's on Triple B as well. So
yeah.
Both of these last 2 records are on Triple B Records, a great record label that I would say mostly does hardcore from the East Coast. Gridiron is like tough, heavy hardcore with kind of rappy vocals. None of this sounds. It doesn't sound, I'm not selling it well, but I love this record, man. It's so catchy. It's so good.
It's like, it takes a lot of things that were at one point viewed as cheesy and excels at all of them to the point like it's undeniable how fucking good that record is.
Totally.
Like I kind of like that No Pressure record. Like I didn't know I needed to hear a hardcore record like fucking Gridiron until I heard it and just like, oh fuck, like yeah, I needed this.
Yeah, they have a formula and they hit it on every song. Like every song is great. They don't outstay their welcome. Like it's just the perfect formula for them. It really works.
I mean, there's football references obviously because it's called Gridiron, but like even if you're not a football fan and you're just like an ugly mean hardcore with some rapping, some screaming, some like metal ass fucking riffs.
Yeah,
like
great riffs.
Like, oh yeah, the fucking riffs are just fucking killer. And it's like, it's a lot of things where you saying out loud is like, what? That's not going to sell anyone on it. But once you hear it, it's like, okay, everything you say now makes sense in the context of just listening to it. So I think basically the easiest way to say it is just fucking listen to this record.
If you're a fan of, say, Cold World, E-Town Concrete, that kind of like rap hardcore, it's a no-brainer. Check out Gridiron.
Yeah. All right. I guess I'm going to jump ahead to my number 3 or third film on this list of 5. Again, not a real top 5, just in any order, just 5 of my favorite Blu-ray releases. Number 3 came from Cauldron Films, who have been knocking out of the park very steadily the last few years. And this was I was ecstatic that they did this because it's been on DVD, but it hadn't been on Blu-ray. And it's a movie that deserves a nice release, and it's Contraband, directed by Lucio Fulci. This is Fulci doing a Eurocrime film way like 5, 6, 7, 8 years out of the prime. Like it's in the 80s, but he was in the middle of his zombie run. So like not only is this like it's like a Eurocrime movie, it's an ultra gory Eurocrime movie. It's fucking violent, it's ridiculous. It's a Fulci zombie movie, no zombies.
Okay.
So it's just action packed. It's fucking great. And again, this is like shout out to Cauldron and Jesse, who also runs Diabolic DVD. Like, you know, it's kind of hard being a newer label in the boutique label scheme of things because like, you know, a lot of the rep stuff is like everyone's already kind of scooped and gobbled it up. So like to be able to like snag something like a real diamond, you know, not even diamond rough, just a diamond release, which is Contraband, like Fulci in his prime, and dropping on Blu-ray, that's fucking amazing. Hell yeah. So if you like Lucio Fulci and over the top gore, which means, I mean, if you like Lucio Fulci, you're gonna like over the top gore, obviously. Mm-hmm. You'll definitely dig Contraband and pick up that Blu-ray from Cauldron.
Super sick. I guess next up on my list, I'm gonna go with Time. All right, Time's from, I think they're from Philly or surrounding areas like Philly suburbs, something like that. They're from somewhere in Pennsylvania for sure, but I think it's Philly in particular. But they put out an LP this year called Hydrangea. I'm gonna try to pronounce it like Pangea, I guess, but like hydrant. So like, I guess that means like maybe like it's some underwater piece of land or something.
Could be.
What do you think?
You know, that sounds good to me. So we'll just roll with it.
But they put out an LP on Jumpstart Records, and it's like, I don't know. It's another, like I say, everything is kind of falling in that kind of grungy, shoegazy, melodic rock territory these days, and I think this band is one of the ones that are doing it particularly well. And it's maybe a little more straightforward than a lot of these. Like I don't know, maybe it's not like as new metal as some of these bands, but it still gets heavy. Mm-hmm. I don't know. This record's just catchy as shit, man. I love it.
It's definitely more on like the more traditional like shoegaze or indie rock or college rock or whatever the fuck.
Right. Like there's definitely some Husker Du in there.
Oh yeah,
like more like straightforward guitar rock. You know.
There's a song on there. I think it's called Arm Candy. That just like sounds like something Bob Mould would write. Right. And like I really like this record too. I think it just missed maybe my like personal top 10, but like it was up there. Mm-hmm. And I think it's a great fucking record. And like again, I'm kind of like really happy with all the shoegaze, newgaze, like indie rock, grunge or whatever, like all these things just popping back up. It's like it's kind of making music exciting again, because I feel like a lot of like guitar rock was really just wimpy, like throwback, like Zeppelin shit or something like that. Just ballless fucking garbage.
Yeah, there's some bad garage rock for a number of years.
I don't want garage rock. I want a fucking band that sound like they're gonna fucking like blow a fucking amp. I want like bands that hit like the Dinosaur Jr. realm.
Right on.
So, I mean, I dig. Fucking great record. Great pick. All right, so for my number 2, and this might actually be really my number 2 because I think it's a great release. And I was trying to do, releases from a bunch of different labels, but the next 2, I'm just gonna say they're both from Severin Films, and obviously I have a long working relationship with Severin Films. Yeah, I'm probably biased, but I also think they do outstanding work, and they've been like nailing shit. And this is one of the box sets they put out. They put out a few box sets this year. I think they did a Christopher Lee one. There was the Ray Dennis Steckler one. And this is probably my favorite of them all, which is the House of Psychotic Women box set, which was kind of released in conjunction with the re-release of Kayla Janice's book, House of Psychotic Women. What I really like about this box set is the fact that, like, there's 3 movies in it I've never fucking seen before. The only one I've seen is, like, Footprints, which is like a giallo by the guy who did The Fifth Chord, which was like one of the kind of sadly never had a good release, and now Severin put it out. But like, there's a lot of stuff on there. There's a movie Identikit on there with Elizabeth Taylor.
Yeah, I saw that one very recently, actually.
Yeah, it's just like, that's the thing I like about it, is because like being in this era of like seeing things that I've never seen, just like is really exciting to me. And like, I'm really just, I'm stoked, and it's like a beautifully well put together box set. So that's my number 2.
All right. Next up, a record that I was very excited for, and when it finally came out, it did not disappoint, and that is the Fleshwater. It's their debut LP. They put out a demo, I think, in 2020, and re-recorded one of those songs for this LP. But it's called "We're Not Here to Be Loved," and it's on Closed Casket Records, who mostly does like death metal and more like metal and hardcore thrashy stuff. But this is more of like it's definitely a new metal grunge shoegaze record, but definitely heavy on the new metal. Like this could definitely be mistaken as a new metal record.
I mean, it's definitely Deftones, but like,
yeah.
I also feel like it starts drifting past that. I guess where certain people are very comfortable with Deftones style of when it tiptoed in new metal. It's definitely like crossing that line into like probably some stuff people don't want to admit they ever liked or whatever kind of thing.
I mean, people readily admit they like Korn and Slipknot these days. That's the thing.
I'm still not into that stuff.
No, me either, man.
But
me either.
But some of those, I mean, I think you can take that down-tuned guitar and like, play riffs like it, but give it a different context, and it just becomes more appealing to my ears and probably your ears at the same time.
Yeah, for sure. Slipknot and Disembodied are not that different.
But I think it's
I mean, there's a world of difference between them, but they're not so different.
No, if you listen to the riffs and like song structures,
like you'd be bummed how
close.
Yeah. But yeah, Fleshwater. This record's really, really great, really catchy, really heavy, but then also really catchy in parts. They cover Bjork.
Oh yeah, that fucking cover is just insane.
Kicks ass.
I think the only other time I've heard someone cover Bjork was like Greg Dooley did in Twilight Singers.
Oh yeah, for sure.
He did Hyper Ballad.
That was really, really fucking awesome. Goddamn.
I don't know. It's a really cool record. It is one of my favorites for the year. Like, Unexpectedly was one of my favorites. Like, first time I heard it, it's like, man, that might be too new metal for me. And then it's just like, nah, that's fine.
right. No, this is actually just really good. But yeah, so there's my just another pick, not really in any type of order, I suppose.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean,
I will say I think that's probably my number 1 rock record. That's my number 1 rock record of the year. That's a Fleshwater. It's a motherfucker.
Yeah, I agree. I like that.
In fact, I just saw some shows just got announced on the East Coast, like at the Autobar, like Angel Dust, Fiddlehead, someone else, and then at the bottom it said 3 bands, and one of them was Fleshwater.
Oh shit.
And so like I hit up my friend, I was like, buy me a ticket and I'll buy a fucking plane ticket and I'll see you in February. And so he bought me a ticket to the show, and then I realized that it's a tour and that Fleshwater are playing the Boston date, and there's a band in Baltimore playing the Baltimore date.
Oh.
And yeah, so
Whack.
but I haven't been home in a while, so maybe I'll go anyway. Fuck it. But I'm bummed I'm not seeing Fleshwater.
That sucks.
Yeah, what are you gonna do?
Yeah, it happens.
I just like quit. I mean, I didn't buy a plane ticket yet. Like I'm still not like really out anything. You know, like
Your friend's just out of fucking
he's
ticket.
out. I mean, he's out $20. I'll send you $20, Frank. It's all good.
I guess now we're at our number ones, or at least last pick of these top 5s. They're in no particular order. I do feel like this is probably my number 1 Blu-ray release. And reason why is, one, it's kind of been a bucket list title for a lot of people to ever see a really good Blu-ray. And again, Severin Films knocked out of the park. And of course, I'm talking about Dario Argento's Four Flies on Grey Velvet. You know, it's Ultra HD, Blu-ray, soundtrack CD. We did the Severin Super Shock pop-up film festival back in November. I should have mentioned that earlier, but like that was one of the many events I did this year. And they premiered like 2 restorations of titles they released for their Black Friday. First was Action Mutante, which is absolutely bonkers movie, and it was this one.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, seeing it on the big screen and seeing it look amazing, it's like it changed my opinion of the movie. Like, this was always a hard Argento to see for many years. When I finally saw it, I was a little disappointed in it. And I know that's weird because I have a tattoo from this movie, like from the poster art. But like, I guess it was disappointing because like it's not as good as, you know, Bird with the Crystal Plumage.
Mm-hmm.
And like, I guess some people argue that it's way better than Cat O' Nine Tails, even though I think Cat is a pretty good movie. But like, I guess it was just, it felt like he was kind of over making like those giallo thrillers and all that at that point. But like revisiting and like seeing, it's like there's a lot of art, there's a lot of craft in it, there's a lot of like artistry. Like, I mean, there's always in Argento movies, but like seeing it look fucking how it should look is definitely like, and watching it with the audience is definitely changed my opinion of it. What I thought was used to be like a 3.5 star movie is maybe a 4.5 star movie now. And Severin, besides seeing that restoration in a theater, that fucking disc is stacked.
Cool.
Like, you know, it was kind of the last Argento movie outside of the other one that Severin put out, which was another one that was impossible to see, which was called The 5 Days, which is the movie he made after Four Flies on Grey Velvet, where more or less like he's like, yeah, I'm done doing giallo films. I'm gonna take my hand in doing a historic, like a period piece comedy.
Okay.
Which that Blu-ray is outstanding too, and it's kind of weird to watch the movie because like he's definitely doing something out of his, you know, what his established wheelhouses, but like all the directorial flair is still there, and a lot of things he did in that movie translate into what he ended up doing in Deep Red, like a few years later after he decided like maybe period piece comedy dramas aren't my bag, and maybe killing people with straight razors is.
Right. Yeah.
But yeah. So this is my number 1 Blu-ray release. I think Severin probably still has their web store closed since their Black Friday sale, but if it reopens, definitely grab one while you still have a chance, because, you know, it's definitely a bucket list title that finally hit Blu-ray, and they knocked it out of the fucking park.
Sweet. I think I will try to grab one of those. All right, so I'm going to cheat, as I like to do. But this is because partially we can really just talk about this because I don't know which one is my favorite. So we mostly have talked about hip hop or rap on this podcast when we talk about music in general. So the new Boldy James Nicholas Craven record called Fair Exchange No Robbery.
Mm-hmm.
It's like probably 10 songs. It's short and sweet, and it's just, I mean, one of the best producers today.
Yeah.
Consistent as hell, did the whole thing. And then one of the greatest rappers today, Boldy James. I don't think that's crazy to say. I mean, he's absolutely one of the best rappers out right now.
You know what? Listening to this records, like Boldy's done a lot of records. Like he's just done single producer records, and like I think there was he did one with Future Wave this year too.
Mm-hmm.
But like he's also done those Alchemist records, and like I think every year we talk about those out. Like we were talking about the Price of Tea at China, and then there's Bo Jackson that came out, and like Tecmo Bowl or whatever. And we always talk about them, and like I always think they're gonna make my list, and then they don't for like top albums. And I don't think there's anything bad, but just something about this one is just like so cohesive.
Well, Price of Tea in China, that was like that was a work of art. You know what I mean? It was really long, and it was just really artful, and really just it's kind of out there a little bit.
Yeah, I think that actually made your list.
Yeah, I think it did. I could see why. There's like a lot of tracks on there like where there aren't drums and shit like that. But this is just like a classic fucking hip hop record or a classic.
I think it's more classically structured. Like, I know a lot of people are now doing the one producer, one MC kind of thing. I think there's only one guest spot on this record. Yeah. And, like, it's just basically a showcase for Boldy. Mm-hmm. And I feel like there's something about Craven's beats that kind of, like, suit how he raps a little bit more than Alchemist, which is not to say those Alchemist records aren't great, but I just feel like it just feels, like, so cohesive.
Right.
And it's like, I was like, yeah, this should be cool, but like I ended up like, God damn, I really fucking like this record a lot.
It's like all the Alchemist ones, they're too experimental.
Yeah,
like to a fault. Whereas this one, it doesn't get experimental.
Yeah,
it's just, and Nicholas Craven, he kind of he did a bunch of those records with Ransom.
Yeah,
he kind of just does one thing, but he does it really fucking well. And that's not to discredit what he does, because like he's great. It's like the stuff that he does for Ransom is a little more like almost horror theme. Like you can hear it in the beats too. I don't know if it's actually like direct samples, but that's what it is. But he just does one thing.
Yeah, and that's it's sometimes it's the Motorhead thing. Like Motorhead could only do one thing, which is Motorhead, and every Motorhead album kind of, I don't want to say it's the same, but like
if you've heard one, you've heard
them all. And yeah, there's always going to be a track or two that's going to really stand out, but like a Motorhead record, you're not going to get disappointed listening to a Motorhead record. You're going to get a fucking Motorhead record. Mm-hmm. And when you hear Nicholas Craven doing beats, you're going to get a Nicholas Craven record. And I just think there's just some kind of extra special, magical, whatever you want to call it, when Boldy stepped on there.
Totally. The cover art is awesome. It looks like an old like Highlights magazine or something.
Yeah, it's fucking, I don't know, it's just top notch.
And the cover art, just the way that it has all the red and the snow, just feels like a Christmas record.
It does.
Kind of feels good for this time of year. For some reason, they just like
there's some kind of holiday spirit in there, even though there is exactly no holiday spirit in there.
It's really, I guess it's just the cover, but it just it did that for me. For some reason. But anyway, that is not necessarily my number one record. I cannot figure it out. Maybe it's the new Freddie Gibbs, Soul Sold Separately.
That record, because the way Freddie rolled it out, I think he spent a whole year dropping singles, and then not a single one of those singles ended up on the fucking record. Right. Which is kind of a great strategy. I guess they put all the songs on the bonus edition or whatever, but yeah, like
it's sick.
It's sick, and like it also is kind of the exact opposite of the Nicholas Craven, Boldy James, because Freddie had done an album, Alchemist, which I think was probably maybe the best of the Alchemist projects out there, and like he's also done records with Madlib and stuff like that. This one he had different producers on every single song, like consciously, and he has a theme to it. He kind of like he pushes himself. Like it's definitely like it's a rap record, it's a hip hop record. He's definitely doing some soul stuff, but I feel like he's searching and pushing himself to be great in a way. And whether you think that record achieves all that, it's up to your ears and what you think. And like it was a record I listened to and I stepped away from it and then came back to.
When I came back to it, I honestly loved it so much more.
Yeah, I think when it came out, because like it came out in the kind of like towards the end of the year, and like, you know, Griselda and all those, like Conway, Benny, and Westside have released like fucking shit ton of records. And like, you know, no disrespect, but like they just kind of weren't. They didn't have the same edge they did last year.
They're not on the list.
No. And I think there's some other records that like maybe aren't on your list that I thought were really good. Yeah, and one of them not even my list, and I think it's phenomenal, is that Nas King's Disease 3. Because like it's just great. And you know, there's that Pusha T record, which is like kind of in between, because half the record is produced by Pharrell and Neptunes, and the other is Hitler's #1 fan, Kanye West.
Oh, right.
Which might hurt Push's a Grammy nomination or a winning chances or whatever. But like the thing that Freddie kind of bucked the trend of like not using a single producer, used a shitload of producers. So there's Alchemist, there's Madlib, I don't know who else is on. I can't think of who. Oh, like fucking dude from 3 6 Mafia produces one of the songs.
Oh shit.
So it's like it's kind of like all over the place, and like it's kind of inconsistent, but it's consistent.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of, you know, all over the place, but not. And I think Freddie, where Nicholas Craven does one thing and he does it well, Boldy James does one thing and he does it well, them together made something special. I think with that Gibbs record is because when he hits the highs of that record, they're so high that like no one can fucking touch them. But also by doing that, if you kind of miss a little bit, it feels like a bigger drop, even if it really isn't.
Yeah.
So it's like, I think both records are incredible in different ways. But I do think, like, you know, as consistent and solid as that Craven Boldy James record is, I think there's a string of songs on that Gibbs record that just kind of pushes it to being my probably favorite rap record in general, just because he's pushing himself. And it's like the song he does with Pusha T, and then the song My Grandma's Stove, and then I think the CIA song that Madlib produced. I think it's just like those 3 songs are just such a like run in a stacked album that that's why it's like elevated.
Right on. Sick as hell.
So that's our top 5 Blu-rays and albums. We're going to take one last break here. When we come back, we're going to talk about some of our other favorite things of 2022 on the Cinematic Void podcast.
Polaroid's SX70 Sonar and Time Zero Super Color, the perfect Christmas combination.
Like egg and nog.
The finest instant camera and the fastest developing color.
Huh?
This gets much closer than any other instant. You view right through the lens. The focus is automatic. And this sharp, bright color comes up in seconds. No other camera does that.
That is close. What other cameras do that?
Name one. Well,
I'm thinking.
you only got till Christmas.
Here's one from Mom and Daddy, one Grandma came to bring, one from Uncle Charlie, and one from Burger King.
It's the Burger King doll.
This Christmas, your kids can have this colorful, cuddly Burger King doll free when you buy a book of 10 gift certificates for $5.
Add an extra touch to Christmas with a gift from Burger King.
Welcome back. We just talked about our top 5 albums and Blu-rays here on the Cinematic Void podcast. I did Blu-rays, Nick did albums, but now we're going to switch things up because it's the end of the year. We have some other favorite things. And, you know, Nick might have his own favorite Blu-rays. I might have my favorite albums, so we're just going to talk about that. So why don't you go ahead and tell me about some of your other favorite things, Nick?
All right, let's see. I did grab a couple Blu-rays this year. I don't buy a ton of Blu-rays, honestly, and like I've said in the past, I mostly collect Criterion. So one of them came out yesterday. It's the Criterion number 1163, the Michel Haneke trilogy, which is the Seventh Continent, Benny's Video, and 71 Fragments of Chronology of Chance. And I love Seventh Continent so much, so I had to buy it on that alone. And you know what? While we are talking about packaging and what have you, I haven't watched this yet. I don't know what the transfer looks like, but I can tell you that it's 3 films. I have a bunch of Criterion collection stuff. It's super whack that it's 3 films in this fucking little thing that they usually put one film in. Like they usually it's
just 3 films on one disc.
No, it's multiple discs, but like it's just whack. You can see like in the the 3 Colors collection, it's 3 separate things. It's a box and it's a whole fucking thing.
I'm gonna tell you why they did
This
that.
is whack, bro.
They did it for marketing, because like 3 Colors you could get away with selling as a box set. That
This is still $70.
they charge $70 for that.
Not on Amazon Prime.
So it retails for $7.
Yeah,
that's some bullshit.
like it's 68 or something. You call it 70.
That's some straight.
Some bullshit.
Not for that. Like fuck. Not for that package.
You could have done them separately and charged $40 each. So no, they did us a favor. But anyway, I'm really glad this exists. I love these films. So I don't know. Should I just talk about the other couple Blu-rays that I also grabbed Final Flesh, which is an AGFA release, and it's directed by Vernon Chapman, who also did Wonder Shows on MTV2, and it's a fantastic fucking movie. What it is he wrote a script. And then he hired there used to be a bunch of like porn companies that you could hire and tell them like what your fantasy is and pay them to film your fantasy. And so he hired multiple film companies that did this and gave them all different pieces of the script and then put it all together as this film. And it's absolutely bananas. It's fucking nuts. I love it so much. So I grabbed the Assholes Blu-ray. It's by Circle Collective. Who's that? Who is that?
It's they're on one of the.
It's Vinegar Syndrome.
It's Vinegar Syndrome partner label. It's like
Gotcha.
it just Vinegar Syndrome is the distributor through their OCN distribution thing.
Right on. And that is of course the Peter Vack directed film of him and his sister Betsy Brown. I've talked about in the past on here. Yeah, and that came out I think in January, so that's probably the only really 3 physical releases I have from this year. But there you go.
There you go. I mean, anything else you want to talk about? Your favorites? You got shows?
I did just read We Spread by Ian Reed, who he also wrote I'm Thinking of Ending Things that Charlie Kaufman adapted into a film. Mm-hmm. And he also did one of my favorite books called Foe. So I'm a big Ian Reed fan in general. So this is his newest book. It came out in September, and it's awesome. I don't know. I won't give away too much of the plot. I'd just say like if you're into like Charlie Kaufman type things, really for that matter, if you're into that kind of weird like meta whatever shit, just like what the fuck is this type books, dive in, check it out.
Awesome.
I don't know, man. What else happened this year? Let me think real quick.
You want to talk about your favorite screenings and all that?
I don't know. I think probably my favorite screening was I saw Cranes Are Flying probably even multiple times. I think that was January. So yeah. That's probably my favorite screening this year. I'm trying to think of any. Oh, you know what? I saw Actors, which is the Betsy Brown film that she directed, and then her brother also starred in. I saw that at Brain Dead. And they both did a Q&A with Sean Baker, and it was awesome. I mean, I love both these films so much. And they just did a screening where they did both of them together in New York, and I'm hoping that comes to LA as well.
Nice.
And then I also saw Down with the King at Brain Dead, and Freddie Gibbs was there. He starred the film, and he did a Q&A with the producer of the film.
All right. Anything else?
It's been an alright year, man. It's been alright. It's been a pain in my ass, but it's fine. It's another one. Another trip around the sun, bro.
Yeah, it's been a very long trip. Feels like this year has gone by. So, I think this year is probably the most like new music I consumed. A lot of it thanks to you. So, but I do want to talk about it. I think I have a list of 9 favorite albums of 2022 plus 1 reissue, because why do a top 10? Just do a top 9 and a reissue, and then 4 singles. Because I think this year there was a lot of bands that put out really good singles.
There's some great singles, yeah.
So let me look at my list. I'm just gonna name the albums and kind of a little bit. There's this band Faytooth, which really snuck in at the last minute. It's Remnants of the Vessel, which is like a kind of doom stoner rock sludge metal band, whatever you want to call it.
On Dune Alter Records.
So, I mean, that record was fucking sick.
And they've done a bunch of great records. And shout out to Justin Dunalter. Solid. Nice. Bro.
That Fleshwater record, We're Not Here to Be Loved, incredible. Just got into it. That No Pressure record, like, again, like, didn't know I needed that record. Needed that record. Freddie Gibbs, Sold Separately, that's up there. That Gridiron, No Good at Goodbyes, I think we share a lot of these records. Hellshock, which is kind of a Portland, like, I guess, crust punk metal band, released a new album that was really good. That Boldy James, Nicholas Craven record, Fair Exchange, No Robbery. Another hip-hop record I really liked was Almost Dry by Pusha T. I think it came out pretty early, but like I revisited it just to kind of see, and I think it holds up. I honestly feel like, you know, I like that record, the Gibbs record, and the Craven Boldy record for all different reasons. And it's like, you know, a lot of people say like all hip-hop sounds the same as bullshit because like these are all sonically very different in what they do.
Totally.
And what else? Oh, the Nine Choirs by Tribal Gaze, which was a band we saw down the street from where we live, which made it convenient to go see them. Had that show been anywhere else, neither of us would go on seeing it. We just went to a show where we didn't actually go to the show. We just sat in the car and drank beers.
Super punk.
Yeah, we were punk as fuck. Didn't pay to get in, drank our beers, left.
Drank and drove.
Well, no. It was fine. Fuck the law. Anyway. And I got a reissue, which probably is your favorite reissue too, if you had one. It's the Baltimore band Blank, Anywhere But Here, that Reptilian Records put out on vinyl for the first time. I guess when it came out originally, it was just CD only because the band was done. So, I don't know. I know the second that record went up for sale, I think we all jumped on it.
Totally.
So, it's, you know, if you don't know who Blank is, which probably don't because very Baltimore-centric, you know, band members went on to be in Cross My Heart and Liars Academy. But that Blank record is just incredible. Like, you know, it's where like indie rock, hardcore, and I guess what used to be emo all meet together. So it's like, you know, as much as the late 90s, early 2000s, like sound is coming back, it's also nice to hear a band from that era get a good reissue and maybe some reevaluation. So I have also 4 singles that I want to mention. The first is that fucking Botch song, 122. Like, who knew Botch was going to do a song this year? And who knew is like probably the best song of the year? Yep. Straight ahead, you know, sort of mathy hardcore metal. Listen to that song a lot. I mean, it's 2 minutes. It's fucking easy to just like put on repeat. It's fucking catchy. It's like, it's fucking great. It's like, I hope that's the only new Botch song that Botch records. Just let it be.
But they're playing shows. So next thing you know, there's gonna be a whole new. But that's, I mean, it's kind of the best Botch song.
Yeah, it actually is. Like, it's the best Botch song. And you know, if they wrote an album where it's like 10 of those,
yeah,
fucking excellent. I just also get worried when a band like does something so like does a reunion song and it fucking nails it, and then it's just like, man, it's great. I hope they do an album. And then they do an album. It's like, fuck, wish they didn't do the album.
Yeah,
but
so true.
Who knows? Canadian folk legend Hayden put out a new song called East Coast, which is the first one in like fucking 6-7 years. It's
okay.
Like, and he just, I think he's been touring Canada. I hope he tours again. I think the last time I saw Hayden was with you, which was like, fuck, was it like 2008, 7, something like that?
At a coffee shop in Virginia.
Yeah. I saw him twice on that tour, but it was fucking great. So like, I don't know. It's very fitting that he decided to record a song because like it's definitely kind of hitting on a personal level. So it was, I don't know, it's kind of incredible. I always liked Hayden, and just like, I don't know, man, it's weird that so many things that I love are coming back. Yeah. And I just want to appreciate it, be it music, movies, people, whatever. Another single I like, this one was from you, is Koyo, 10 Digits Away.
Oh, yeah.
That song is a catchy motherfucker. And I don't know what they're doing, but there ain't no album out.
Yeah. I do like the other EP as well. They're sick as hell.
Yeah, they've done 3 EPs, and each EP just adds another song. And I thought, like, oh, I guess there would be an album out eventually, but like, no. They also had a couple other EPs they put out previously, which are equally good. It's like, I don't even think I like this style of like pop punk stuff, but like, god damn it, like that song a lot. And the last single is like kind of the one Griselda Black Soprano Family affiliate. It's Rick Hyde. It's a single called Posa. It's got Rome Streets on it. I think Alchemist produced it. It's just a fucking nasty fucking track. Like, Rome has a fucking great verse. Rick Hyde has a great verse. It's just like, I think it's the single that like stuck with me the most. I'm trying to think new movies.
Let me jump in real quick, because now you got me itching since you're talking about EPs and singles and stuff. The X Weapon X demo that came out earlier this year, and I think it's members of like some like big kind of metalcore, hardcore bands. Like it's like, oh man, I feel like it's somebody from like Knocked Loose or something, but yeah, just straight edge hardcore. It's kind of fast,
kind of ignorant. It's
tough. It's ignorant. Yeah, I man, I love that record so much. So X Weapon X, this band from France called Mascara put out a 2-song single called Half Light Aftermath on Fever Ltd or Fever Limited Records, however you want to pronounce that. But they put out a 2-song single, and I think there was like a lathe cut 7-inch that was super limited, maybe even limited to like 25 or something. I got one of those.
Damn, dude.
And then there's a band called Church Girls that are pretty sick. But this single that they put out this year, man, I've listened to this song so many fucking times. It's called Telepathic Mind. It's kind of similar to even like that Time record or something. Just some guitar pop, man. And the song kicks so much ass. Highly recommend it. Just fucking you will just listen to it over and over, dude.
That's what I want. I just want to listen to songs that like make me happy or like just take me to a place, which I feel like, that's kind of what I need now or whatever. I'm trying to think of anything else. Like, I saw some new movies. I like Nope a lot. Mm-hmm. I like Travis Stevens' A Wounded Fawn, which I thought was really good.
Right on.
So, I mean,
I saw Something in the Dirt, Benson Moorhead film from this. I think it officially came out this year. Yeah. I thought that was really cool.
Yeah, I mean, there's some other things as well. I do want to give a special shout out to Chris LaMartina and Melissa LaMartina for Out There Halloween Mega Tape, the sequel to WNUF. I screened it at Midsummer Screen, and like I feel like, it's a found footage movie. Obviously there's aesthetic, but I think it's a real work of art. And like, I get happy when people like push the limits of like things, and like, Chris probably thinks I'm being pretentious by saying that, but like I think like creating something so aesthetically on point is like a real work of art. Like, he just made a fucking anti-film. It's literally a VHS tape you would find from the 90s with a talk show and a fucking live Halloween special on it. Mm-hmm. So I know that's currently out on DVD. I think eventually, probably in a year or so, it'll probably hit Blu-ray too. But him and Melissa did a whole like tour with that.
Sick.
So I just want to give it a shout out. That was one of my favorite movies of the year. And yeah, I'm biased. He's a friend, but like, I think it's incredible. So I don't know. I think this is gonna wrap up this last episode of 2022 of the Cinematic Void podcast. I want to thank everyone who's been listening this year or been listening in general. Again, want to apologize for the unexpected hiatus that happened, but sometimes that's what happens in life. I'm going to try to be more prolific in 2023. We've been already talking about doing a, typical January Giallo episode. We'll probably ease back into things and kind of start monthly and then maybe expand again. But, I like hanging out with Nick. I like doing this podcast. Need to do it more. Need to make time to do things you actually like. And as much as we bitch about things on this podcast, I do enjoy doing this. So thank you, Nick. Thank you for putting up with all the bullshit that makes this podcast happen.
Hey, it's fun, man.
So until next time, see you in the void.